Hello, hello, hello. Today on Your Words Have Powers, Hone Your Speaker Skills segment, we are going to look at value versus volume. You what? You know, I tend to pop in something to get you to think. Well, this is one of those occasions. Value, volume. What do I mean by that? Try this one. Come into a memory of mine, if you will, for a minute. When I was growing up in the UK, we had glass milk bottles delivered to the door, and they had foil tops of different colours. Now, if you had gold top, that was the Guernsey or the Jersey cow milk, and it was very rich, very rich. If you had silver top, that was general bog standard whole milk, where you got the cream at the top and the rest was ordinary milk. Then there was red top that came in eventually, and that was the skimmed milk. And you also got green top. I grew up on green top, unpasteurized milk. Now, I know here in Australia that would not be allowed because it's against the law. And it pretty much is in the UK now, I think. Anyway, that's beside the point. The reason I'm telling you about this is because, particularly thinking of the silver tops, there was a government policy that every primary school child in England should have a third of a pint of milk delivered to the school every day as part of the health benefits. Now, if the crate wasn't taken in early enough before the blue tits got to it, blue tits are a tiny little bird in the UK that used to peck through the silver foil to get to the cream underneath. They were after the value. They couldn't care less about the volume, partly because they couldn't get into it. But the point was they were after the cream. They were after the value at the top. So armed with that little picture, that little metaphor, what are you sharing that is of value? Or are you focusing on the volume of stuff that you want to share? Because depending on how many cycles around the sun you've done, chances are you've got a lot of wisdom to share, a lot of stories you can pull on. Now, if you want to give your audience a lot of information, I'm going to ask you why. You know, back to that purpose thing again, my big questions of why. Why is it important for you as a speaker to share all your knowledge? Is it actually what your audience wants to hear? Again, I'll share you a story. I was approached by a CEO who was 10 days out of a really important presentation. And this CEO was in charge of a not-for-profit. And in the room, when they were going to be giving their presentation, there were people with rather large pockets, shall we say. And so it was important to impress them so that they would come on board and give them some funding. My first question was, what do your audience want to know? The response was, you mean, what do I want to tell them? I said, no. What do they want to know? Ooh. Well, that was one of those uh-oh moments. And they said to me, I'm going to have to rewrite my talk, aren't I? I said, well, could have been helpful to give me more than 10 days notice, but yeah, let's work on this. So we looked at who was going to be in the audience and what was the value that they wanted to get. What was the value they wanted to hear in order to take them to that call to action to help fund this not-for-profit? It was value over volume. What was it that was really important for the audience to hear? And that's what I'm going to challenge you to consider when preparing your talk. Because you've probably got lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of things you could share. A lot of experience, probably an awful lot of wisdom as well. What is the main thing your audience want to hear? What's that core message? That if you strip everything else away, the one thing that your audience desperately needs to hear from you, that's your value. That's the core of your message. How you're going to describe it to them, that depends again on the situation and who you've got in front of you. But knowing your core message is vitally important. Very often, speakers, particularly in the coaching field, will want to give examples of the various things that they can talk about, their experience and their wisdom. And I say, well, hang on a minute. Whose benefit is this for? Is it for your benefit to feel good about how much you've got to share, how much wisdom you've got to offer? Or is it about your audience and what they really, really want to hear? There's a marketing adage which says, sell them what they want and then give them what they need. So what is your core message that your ideal audience wants to hear? What is the value that you're giving them? Now, with Your Words Have Power, your time limit is only 10 minutes. If you want to do a TEDx, your time limit is likely to be between 12 and 15 minutes. You're not going to fit an awful lot of stuff into that time. Not if you structure it well. One core message, possibly 3 points to underline it. 3 is always a good number. 3 points to underline it, 3 stories to share, to underline your point. But that way, your core message, your value will really get over. Because if you add in lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of details, you can get lost in it. Your audience might go, well, yeah, that was a really good talk. Can't remember what she said. Because it's got lost in the volume. So my challenge for you today is, are you going to be the pint of milk or the cream on the top? Focus on your core message. What is that one thing that your ideal audience wants to hear from you? And then when you've got them, then particularly if you're a coach or you're wanting them to work together with you, that is when you can bring them in and share with them what they really need, What is it they want to hear? What is it that will entice them to go further with you so that you can show them in more detail your volume? But to start with, your core message is value. What is your cream? That's what I'm going to leave you with today. And I'd love you to pop in the chat. Maybe a one-liner. What is your core message? Because that's the thing that you're going to get known for. Your words have power. I was talking to somebody this past week who said they every time they read that phrase, your words have power, or hear it said, they think of me. So what is that one core message that you want to be known for? I'll leave that with you, and let's hear about your cream, your value, rather than your volume. See you soon. Bye from me. Oh, stop.